18 months, we recruited around 25 volunteers, all of which around 70 to 80% I would say were from a migrant or refugee background, and we recruited those volunteers into various roles across the agency. Really diverse roles, anything from IT to casework support, administrative support as well with our business and support services unit, so giving people some experience in accounting. And we found it really quite easy to find and match the positions that we were looking for with qualified, motivated, committed volunteers. I think the first and most important point to consider when starting a volunteer program is to make sure it's appropriately resourced, so that you have somebody who can be responsible for every stage along the way within the volunteer program. So that's to do with getting staff buy-in, so getting the staff from the agency on board or the organisation on board to say, this is why migrant and refugee volunteers are such a value add to the agency. So I think it was a very important initial phase for us to go through in talking to staff and saying, this is what volunteers can bring to your everyday role and your program area or your project area. So the first step was getting organisational buy-in. The second step was around developing position descriptions with individual staff members to make sure, I guess, staff were clear about what the detail of the role would involve, so that volunteers, when they were applying, knew what was expected of them. So it was very clear, kind of, 3 or 4 dot points about these are the types of tasks you'll be doing daily. These are the types of skills we're looking for in an individual. We're not expecting you to be amazingly qualified, but just to have a motivation. The first and foremost, most important criteria for volunteers when we were recruiting was that there was that enthusiasm and motivation for wanting to get some Australian workplace experience. So, with the 70 to 80% of CALD volunteers in the agency, that was a big motivation. Motivation for volunteering was to gain some Australian workplace experience. This stuff has been done before, so not to, volunteer programs are notoriously under-resourced, so not to put an extra burden on yourself from developing those policies and procedures from scratch, but talking to other agencies. And I think in the community sector, we're more than happy to share those resources and those skills and those tips about what didn't work in the past and what things should I look out for, or what traps shouldn't I fall into when managing a volunteer program.